the small town of Port Moose, Ontario, the story of Terry and his dream as a local legend. Terry had lived in Port Moose his entire life, never venturing beyond its borders. He was known for working odd jobs around town and living with his mother, a retired nurse who relied on a modest pension. Terry's true passion, however, was fishing. He spent countless hours dreaming of opening his fishing store, Terry's Bait and Tackle, where he could share his love for the sport with others. In the evenings, Terry was a regular at the local bar, where he played pool and tried his luck at Keno, a lottery game. One fateful night, his persistence paid off. Terry won the lottery, a jackpot of several $1 million. Ecstatic, he immediately bought everyone at the bar a round of beers, though he had to put it on a tab because his winnings hadn't come through yet. With his newfound wealth, Terry set out to make his dream a reality. He purchased a lot in the industrial area of Port Moose and began the process of building his store. As time went on, his vision for the store grew more ambitious. He secured a permit for a 6-story mass timber building, which would not only house Terry's Bait and Tackle, but also feature a fishing-themed diner on the ground floor. Terry hoped the diner would become a popular spot for local workers to grab breakfast or lunch. Determined to be hands-on in every aspect of the project, Terry even bought his own crane and took courses to learn how to operate it. However, as construction progressed, Terry's funds dwindled faster than he anticipated. When the bank refused to grant him a loan, he was forced to declare bankruptcy, and construction on the building came to a halt. Not long after, Terry mysteriously disappeared. The partially built structure, with its towering crane, was left abandoned. The local municipality, short on resources and staff, never ordered the crane to be dismantled. Over time, the crane became a symbol of Terry's dream and his enduring presence in the town. Some locals believe that on misty mornings, if you look out over the lake, you can still see Terry fishing. A reminder of the man who dared to dream big in Port Moose, Ontario. Welcome back, City Builders. I'm CanadianMoosePlays. This is City Skylines 2, and in today's episode, we will be adding the city's first train station and train depot. It is jam-packed with a whole heck ton of detailing, so let's dive in. Starting off today's episode, we are in our inspiration station to see if we can find a train station. Now, I found this building. It's not a train station. Maybe it was at one point, because it does kind of look like one. But the thing is, it looks like this article here on Reddit that I found that's fairly recent. It appears that there's no train stations in Thunder Bay, and that Via Rail, or any passenger rail for that matter, completely skips the town. Now, let me know, Thunder Bay residents, is that the case, or is there something that I'm missing? Love to hear from all of you on that. However, we are going to be building a train station in our build. I want trains in. Trains are cool. I want to have a functioning rail system. So we're going to use a little bit of inspiration from here. Now, the build doesn't end up looking like this, but this was the main inspiration for kind of that there is a building and that there is something, sort of going on here. Kind of grimy, kind of run down. Again, I know that this is not a train station, but we're going to use that as okay, we could maybe get some rail in and kind of the stuff that surrounds it there. Now, also on this street will be some inspiration. If we take a look at Syndicate Ave South, I guess, yeah, the S. This, now let me know. So this to me looks like a bike lane, right? Now this screams bike lane to me. It's a little bit intense, and now I might be wrong. Let me know if this is a bike lane. Thunder Bay residents, what is this? Is it a bike lane? Because it sure as heck seems like it, and we're going to use this as an excuse to build a very not safe bike lane. So let me know. There's no paint, no nothing. I don't even see any street markings here that this was. So maybe it's not a bike lane. Like, I see nothing. But I don't know. It's got, it's got those small town bike lane vibes. So let me know. Let's hop into the time lapse. So welcome to the live play portion of the episode, and we've got a pretty big one for all of you today. However, the build itself, not as big. The detailing, though, is on full display in this one. We're going to start off by adding the invisible pathways. Yeah, the invisible parking spots by Dome. That was suggested by somebody in the comments mentioning that Dome stuff does have invisible parking. Wow, I just want to really call that pathing, eh? But it does have invisible parking, so we got that in, which means that the spots that we built in the last episode are going to be fully functional. Then I came in with these new decal packs. Now, these are not released yet. They are currently on Solly's Discord. Not made by Solly, I should add, but by somebody in Solly's Discord. Again, they are not currently public. Hopefully, they will be public at some point, because they are freaking awesome. I have been obsessed with these for the past few days since they dropped and couldn't wait to start using them in Port Moose, Ontario here. So we got that detailed up, and you notice that I changed the road, and I'm going to make this lane not exist anymore. And the reason why is similar to the inspiration station there. We're going to build out a bike lane. Now, I could have added the invisible lane in the roads through the Road Builder mod, but I've noticed that there's still some issues with Road Builder mod, mainly the sidewalks and curbs at connection points just look a little bit off. So I'm still not fully using Road Builder mod currently, just waiting for some of the kinks to be ironed out. And this is something that we could easily do without Road Builder mod, which is just come in, use a road that has an extra lane, and make that lane non-functional, which you'll see here, although I almost made it functional there. But the goal is to keep cars out of that lane so we can make it a bike lane. But yeah, I am super curious to hear from y'all that live in Thunder Bay. Was that a bike lane that we saw or not? I'm going to use it as inspiration for a bike lane, but would love to hear from all of you if that actually is. It looks a lot like the ones that you see out here, or I should say more so in the Okanagan, just like the rough bike lanes where it's like, yeah, that's probably a bike lane. And now I'm going to come up, and again, a lot of times what I'm going to do for this build is use the laid out farmland that Rafterman has provided on this beautifully detailed map, and we're going to place roads following it. And what's going to happen is that those farmlands, because this is how it typically goes in cities, it's super common. You'll see they'll basically buy up parcels of farmland, and then they'll zone out their crazy, squiggly, weird-looking roads for suburbia, but they're all within a square, and the square borders being that farmland that was purchased up for said development. So we are going to stick roads and try to follow as closely as we can the farmland that has been laid out for us on this map. So coming in here, and we're going to place one of the decals that vanished. I forgot what happened, but oh, right, it was the tree. Yeah, apparently when you're with the brush destroying trees, like removing trees like we did, it also removes decals. So just be careful with the tree brush if you're like, oh, I'm going to move all these trees, but you have decals around, they will get yeeted. We're going to come in here and try to figure out which train station I want to use for this episode. And I was going to go with this one here because I love the building, and it's similar to the building that we saw in the inspiration station there. But the main issue with it is freight is still going to come through. Now, I thought about separating it, so separating the two tracks, and this is where I'm going to defer to you train nerds. Authentic train nerds, because as y'all know, as I've mentioned in a couple episodes, I love trains, but I'm the biggest uneducated train nerd out there. Nerd out for trains, but I don't know nothing about them. Now, it might be unrealistic, so I'm going to try it first, and you'll see that we don't stick with this because I just don't like the look of it. Is this arguably more realistic? Likely, sure. But we're going to actually end up making the station connect directly into the track, and because of that, we don't end up staying with this asset. As cool as it looks, and the reason being is that the overpass for the stairs, I just don't know that it makes sense that a cargo train would be passing under it. Now, again, this is the initial plan here is what we're going to go with. And again, let me know, is this more realistic? It's likely the case that this is more realistic, but I didn't like the look of it, to be honest. I don't know. I wasn't a fan, and we get it looking okay here, doing a lot of messing around there with Move It just to get the nodes looking good. But and even when we do, you see the heights are a little bit crazy there. But even when we do get the heights to the right size here, and we're going to try again, it just wasn't looking good to me. As you can see there, we bulldoze it, and I'm going to come in with this one and just line it up with the tracks. Now, again, let me know, is this unrealistic? Should I not be doing this? Let me know, because I'm curious, but I think I'm going to stick with this regardless. So you know, apologies if this is not realistic. It looks cool. You know, it's probably what we're going to stick with because the end product ends up looking really, really, really good here. So, yeah, likely this is the final result. But let me know. I'm curious in the comments. How are we doing here? You know, is this okay? Is this acceptable? Are people going to rage about it? You know, I guess I'll find out when this episode premieres. So I'm going to come in here with Move It and just stretch it out. But Move It was acting a bit funky for me during the recording of this episode, and I just could not get the nodes to behave like they usually did. Usually I'm able to go to object height and the things are working well, but there was still just some wonkiness going on. Now I am using, because I like to help test for modders, I should say, and help test their mods to help them out. So I am using the beta version of Move It, and as such, it's going to have some quirks with it, which I'm totally fine with and fully understand. But as you can see there, we brought it all to the object height, but it just wasn't doing it. So I'm going to have to go in here and actually delete the rail, delete the station, repave the whole thing, and try again, because it was just acting weird. Like, look at the heights were a bit odd there, and I'm going to go in and try to fix it here, and as you can see, it did not want to behave. So it's likely something to do with the station track that's built into that station, I would imagine, and that was what was causing kind of the bulk of my issue. It's there that, unfortunately, I couldn't fix or save with Move It. It just seemed to make it worse. So we're just going to go in and make sure that the height is all correct, and we're going to make everything to the right height, level it out, which I should have done arguably from the start. Now, another thing I'm noticing as well, you'll see it there, the crane just randomly vanishes. I don't know what it is, and actually, I should say for a bunch of stuff. Now, the main culprit is Better Bulldozer, where Better Bulldozer will make stuff vanish from your buildings, and I think I talked about this in the last episode. I don't know what's going on there, but unfortunately I do have to, like, Better Bulldozer is an absolutely essential mod. And as you can see there, the crane just randomly flashed back and then vanished. I'm noticing a lot of stuff, decals, or actually, sorry, not decals. Decals are the one thing that stays. Props are just vanishing off of buildings everywhere. They randomly come back. Trees are vanishing. Let me know if anybody else has those issues. It's rather frustrating for sure, especially for a detailed build. And I have no idea what mod is causing it, if it's a mod or if something else is going on. Yeah, let me know if any of y'all are having the same issues or any workarounds there. But a lot of stuff just is vanishing from this build. So not the most fun there. And I honestly have no idea what it is, aside from there is a link and a correlation with Better Bulldozer, but is it just that mod or is it a mod confliction? I'm not sure. I do run quite a bit of mods, so you know, this is not unlikely stuff. So we come in here, now that everything's flat and terraformed properly, this looks way better. Whoa, what the heck was that? Okay, there we go. Much yeah, 2 nodes together, you know? Gets crazy there. And then I noticed that the height was a bit jank here, so I'm going to try and fix it. Once again, Move It it was acting a bit weird with the way it was operating with nodes, but this is the first time that I've encountered this, and I'm going to say that I likely think it's due, like the issues I was having with Move It there, not behaving to the height. I actually think that has more to do with the track that I'm doing, stretching out the station track, and not actually the Move It mod. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to figure that out. But we're going to come in here with what is going to be our frontage road, or act like a frontage road of sorts. And it's not really beside a highway, so it's not like necessarily a one-for-one, you know, frontage road style, but I'm going to have it act like a frontage road there. And I was just trying to figure out what road I want to do here. I thought about dirt for a bit, and then I thought about, okay, well, what about like a regular road? But quite frankly, I actually just like the alleyway. I just wish the alleyway roads were bigger, like a proper suburban road. No markings, no sidewalks like that, just as big as the two-way normal road is that has the sidewalks and whatnot. I've tried some options with Road Builder as well, too, to get that, but it does unfortunately add some markings when I stretch it, so hopefully that can be sorted as well, too. Again, Road Builder's in super early days, so I'm kind of letting it do its thing, letting them cook before I really fully utilize it as much as I want to for a lot of this stuff. And now we're going to come in with, again, some more of these beautiful decals. This whole pack, once again, is available on Sully's Discord. Again, Sully didn't make this. This is another creator that made it that we are using here, and they are so heckin' good. I love it. Love the look of them. Gonna come in here, notice some of the heights were a little bit off there with the decals, and then we're gonna go ahead and terraform that. With the decals, you do kind of want to have a pretty nice flat height, as they can still act a bit weird with hills and whatnot. Gonna come in here and raise them to the terrain height. Now, I thought, and I believe it's in the live play portion at the end of today's episode, I thought that there was an issue with Z fighting, and you'll see it. It does appear to be an issue with Z fighting. Now, Z fighting's not prone to just city builders. I've seen Z fighting in FPS games as well. So like Z fighting is the thing that happens. Autumn just hit. Autumn looks so good on this map. It's so heckin' beautiful. Look at this. Awesome. Love it. Anyways, so this decals appear to be Z fighting. It's actually when my cursor hovers over it, it's highlighting the decal, and it pushes whatever decal you are hovering over to the front. So there actually doesn't appear to be Z fighting. Like, you can see it here, right? But it actually appears to be from my cursor, not from the actual decal. And we noticed this in the live play, so stay tuned for that when I talk a little bit more on decals and Z-fighting, and maybe it can help you in your own build to better understand how the decals appear to be working. My brief understanding of it through this experience here. So, but anyways, love the lots there that we have, those empty lots. Like, they look so good. And coming in with this decal texture, and it just looks so good. Now, it's a bit repetitive. So if you want to kind of place this in areas where you have trees to cover its repetitiveness, it ends up looking much, much better. But like this already, oh man, and definitely it's amplified by the autumn colors, like it makes it look so good. This whole build and this whole map looks so good in autumn. There is legit a part of me, if I wasn't so obsessed with immersion in this game, there is a part of me that's like, I kind of want to just use dev mode to keep this city in autumn forever and just have this be a forever autumn build, because it looks so good. I'd imagine that actual Ontario looks this good in autumn too. I could see it being a beautiful, beautiful province in autumn, like just stunning. British Columbia, oddly enough, is not like, I don't know. Autumn here is kind of, I love autumn. It's my favorite season, but autumn's kind of mid here. Like, it's cool, whatever, but the East Coast seems to be made for autumn, like in my opinion. So yeah, let me know, Ontarians, Great Lake people. How's autumn? Autumn's pretty beautiful out there. Yeah, I'd guess. So we got the wall in there, and I was trying to figure out what to do on the side there, and it just wasn't looking good. So I decided, okay, well, we only really need the wall for where they're going to be parking, right? And this, by the way, let me know if you want to see an episode, or not even an episode. Maybe I do a one-off video. I mean, this technically is the build, but this is kind of my showcase into how to build a custom parking lot, because as you can see, what we're using the surface for is going to be the parking lot for the train station there that we placed down. And I'm using, again, Dome's assets. Thank you to, I had quite a few comments from people suggesting this in the comments, so if you are one of those people that had suggested this in the comments, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. These are awesome. Now, they do throw an error in Skive, so I had removed them for a bit. I had seen these before, and then I figured, you know what the heck? I saw Sanctum Gamer use them, so I was like, okay, if Sanctum's using them, they're probably fine. So I went ahead and did that, and they actually look really good. So the decal covers the top of them, and I absolutely love that, to be honest. I think it does make it, like, it looks so freaking good. Just having those, like, be under where you can, like, sort of see that there used to be a line there. Maybe it's worn off, could be the idea behind it. This lot looks so sick. And the cool thing is it's completely functional. Now, I haven't seen people park there yet. Just like I have seen only a couple cars park at the road that we did in the last episode. Now, that is likely due to the fact that we have, 276 people currently. We don't have nearly enough people to fully utilize a parking lot or a train station. And arguably, we did this episode a little bit early in this build, but I was just like, I had a few people asking, trains. And I know people want to see cargo trains. I know that that's more requested than passenger train, but I figure, you know what? Let's do some trains, shall we? So there's the parking lot. So you place those. Now, if you're using these, there's a second part here that you're going to have to do. So you place down the parking lot thing, and now you're going to want to come in with an invisible road, and you're going to want the one with the pedestrians so that it connects to their pedestrian spots. Drag that through the middle as you saw there, and that will complete your process of a custom parking lot. You can use any decal you want. Parking assets there that are spread out to your liking. You just have to remember to draw that invisible network so that it functions. Vehicles will actually drive in there. They will park. They will utilize it. And not only that, the people will come out, walk along the path, and leave. So the whole thing is completely functional the same way it would be if you were the one placing a regular parking lot that the game gives you, which is really cool. So we'll come in here now with our surfaces. That is a sort of classic move that you're going to see all over the city, just to dirty up those roads and make it grimy. Now, I don't know. I feel like I love the look of it, but there is a part of me that feels like maybe I'm going a bit overboard with the dirt and the grime. But I don't know. Everybody tells me about East Coast cities is that they're dirty. The roads are a mess. And that's likely due to the very intense weather y'all get there. Like out here in Vancouver, man, we barely even get winters. Now, there's places I can go to see snow, like Whistler and whatnot, but yeah, we barely get any winters. So I had the surface, and it's not a bad surface. The reason why I'm going to get rid of it here is because it ended up looking, it doesn't match with the concrete of the station as well as the other, and there goes the other surface. Bye-bye, surface. Bye-bye. The amount of times this has happened. Let's add it back, shall we? Surfaces are fun, but I definitely wish there was a way to, like, you know, tab over certain surfaces and just select one surface. I bet you could move it with Move It, and that's probably the answer and probably what I should do, but, you know, as of this time right now, I'm not sure the best way to do it. So I'm going to come in with some flowers to detail this up a bit and just add some life to it. Now, you'll see on the other side of this train station, we're definitely going to need to detail on that side. But like I had mentioned, we're focused on this side, the side we're currently building on of the tracks, and we will give some love to the other side of the tracks eventually in our build. But I think the next few episodes after this one are going to be heavily focused on building up the city, inner city detailing, inner city building. I would say expect like 3 to 4 of the next episodes, just like 3 episodes worth of content just being building out the whole city and getting that fleshed out. And the reason being is that I want to see these trains get proper usage. I want to see these bus stops that we're adding. Like, we want to add buses, and there's no point adding, like, next episode, let's do a bus depot when we don't even have the enough people that it makes sense, right? So, like, let's spend some time, let's get back to the downtown, and I think that's what the next few episodes are going to be focused on. So you can definitely expect that. Now we're going to come in and build out our bike lane. And as mentioned, like, you know, when we were examining the time-lapse, or the time-lapse of the inspiration station, let me know if anybody from Thunder Bay, let me know. So in Thunder Bay, I'm sure that they've got bike lanes. I mean, again, I think the thing that we saw in the inspiration station was a bike lane. Do they paint their bike lanes at all, or is this fairly accurate? Like, no road marking decals, no paint in the intersections. Like, does this look good? Is this a fairly accurate bike lane here, where it's essentially just a bike gutter on the one side, or should I be adding bike markings, and should I be adding green paint to the intersection? If you are from Thunder Bay, I'd love to hear from you. Or if you're somebody who's just like, oh, I'll go check Google Maps and let Moose know, hey, that works for me. Comment below, let me know. Because I would like to get crappy bike lanes in that make you scared to ride on them, because that's essential, right? If we're building a small Canadian town, we gotta build some crappy bike lanes that, you know, most people would be too scared to bike in, yeah? But this looks really cool. I love that we did that. That's gonna be a fun thing to add, and we'll add more of those in the downtown there, because they just, I don't know, they add to, like, the story, the flavor of the build. It's really cool. I like them. Honestly, I like them a lot. They look really, really good. So now I'm thinking about, okay, things are looking good. You know, the parking lot looks awesome. The foliage area beside it looks awesome. We need some decals. So we got some new decals from G87. Those are the puddle decals, so wet decals, which is really awesome. And we're going to go back to some classic solid stain decals here just to make this area look messy and stained up and dirty, and it honestly looks really good. Even though the decal can't go on top, or at least that decal can't. I noticed that some of G87s do. But even though that decal can't go on top there, I mean, it looks really good just as is. But yeah, these decals, man, this decal pack of, like, landscape stuff is so sick. Like, look at all these awesome options, right? Really cool overgrowth there that I thought about using, but was like, you know, we'll take the mulligan on that decal. And then I come in with the stained surface over the train tracks and just add that. Figured, let's add some trash here. And this is where you'll see some of the decals actually do go over top. Like, look at that. That's awesome. So it seems like G87 should be the person I use for decals on the actual station itself. So that's really, really cool to have that, where I can go in and properly detail on top of the station with decals. Or I guess when I'm saying on top of the station, I mean the platforms of the station. And I figured, what better way to name this street than Via Lane, in honor of Canada's greatest railway achievement, Via Rails. I don't know. I hear Via's great in the East Coast. Out here, don't even get me started on trains on the West Coast. It is an absolute cry for help. It is so bad out here. It's non-existent is really what it is. So, if we're going to do a rail episode, right? If we're going to do, a train episode, we got to have the trains up and running in one episode, right? Like I can't, leave it and be like, there's our train station. Yay. We'll do downtown next episode. And this does make the episode a little bit longer than I usually like to hover around the 30-minute mark. But I'm learning as we go, as more decals and more stuff gets released, we are definitely leaning towards the length of a CPP, City Planner Plays episode or an infrastructurist video, and I hope that's okay with everybody. I do treat it kind of like a podcast format, so I'm constantly talking to you, guiding you wherever you are out there in the world, at work, commuting, I can be there to give you some company. So hopefully y'all are okay with a little bit of a longer episode today and maybe in the future with how intense detailing it's getting yet again. But all that to say, we gotta do a depot in this episode, and we gotta have a fully functioning train station in this episode. So that's what we do. And I had a few ideas about this one that, like, maybe this whole building would actually be potentially abandoned in the future because it is smaller. But I tell you, this build, I had my reservations about it, but this build got so heckin', like, I'm so proud of this build. It got really, really good, and I decided, you know what? Nope. This is it. This is our depot. We will do like a proper cargo yard with like tons and tons of tracks. Obviously, this is just like one track that connects. It's not a lot. Don't panic. This is not the cargo yard. This is simply a via rail depot that supplies trains and does maintenance on the trains. So now I've noticed as well too, it's got to be Anarchy, right? Because Anarchy is on. Yeah, actually, it's got to be Anarchy. Anytime I move networks or do anything with it, trees pop up on it. But then sometimes they vanish again, and I don't know what causes them to vanish again, But I also got a lot of comments last episode about trimming back some of the foliage around the track. So I am just going to come in and like try and do that a little bit better. Had quite a few people saying, yeah, it's likely trimmed back or shouldn't be doing as much foliage. And honestly, that checks out. Like that's kind of what I was thinking as well. So I bring this curved rail in, and I was initially going to try and line this up, as you can see, kind of plotting around this farmland piece here that I was going to build out along there. But then I decided, you know what? What if this was a track? Because you see this all the time. Like even in Kamloops, they got lots of these. But what if this was an old track that was used for maintenance and is currently just an abandoned track for whatever reason? Who knows what's going on? They're just not using that anymore. So I figured, okay, yeah, let's do that. This is going to be an abandoned lot that we're not, or a lot, sorry, wow, an abandoned rail track there, that single track, and maybe we connect it in. I do want to like detail it up a little bit more to really give it that abandoned look. But yeah, we'll just call it, I don't know what the story behind it is, but it's an abandoned rail for now, that one line there. So the other thing I wanted to do was, like, I could just have the road connect in with the highway and just be like, oh yeah, there's your connection piece, because the highway does eventually connect back up into the city. But I really wanted to have a road that cuts past the train station and directly interacts with our city here to then connect in past the depot. So that's what I'm going to do here, and I was just adjusting with the heights there, and then we're going to figure out the angle at which it works and adjust it even more. Now it's right beside the tracks, as you saw, and the tracks are slightly elevated to what the road is. So we got to work a bit here to get this, because we don't have a slope tool. Like this whole time that I was building this, I was just like, man, I really hope Max Sergi comes back and gives us a network multi-tool for City Skylines 2. Because, and now shout out to Move It, because we can still do cool stuff, angling. Like, look at that slope. That's pretty nice in Move It. But yeah, I really wish we had that. And then it all clicked to me. All of a sudden, I realized, oh my gosh, we could key this off. Using this mod, we could totally key this rail off. And it looks so heckin' good beside it. Like beside that road where Via Lane curves down and the rail goes higher, we key it off, and that ends up looking so heckin' nice. I completely forgot about that. I was like, oh yeah, I use this for roads, but like, nah, you can use that for rail too, and it looks so sick. So I figured, okay, well, let's match it up on the other side there and have it slope in. And dude, it looks so sick. I'm so really, really, really excited with that. It'd be cool to like have that with like, I should see if I could get like graffiti on it and like really make it like run down and whatnot. But yeah, I'm stoked on that. I think that looks really sick. Really pleased with this. And this whole build too, I know it's not a massive expansion that we're doing, but like, I don't know, arguably it is too. Because this supplies rail. Like, we now have trains. We have our first station down. We'll have our rail depot set up. So it's like we have trains. We've successfully got passenger rail into this build. by episode 3, and that's pretty dang cool in my opinion. So let's go ahead, now that we've got it all connected and the road looks good and everything looks great, let's go ahead and detail this heckin' sucker up, because we got to make this grimy, right? We got to sell the idea of like, this is grimy, dirty rail, right? So we're going to go a little bit ham here with the stains and just make everything look really dirty. And it's times like this when I really do appreciate it. Sometimes the snapping drives me crazy, but like times like this where you can just get it nice and close works really well. Now, be a bit careful if you are doing surfaces by key walls or retaining walls. Sometimes the surfaces can bleed onto them, so you just want to taper them back a bit, like what I was doing at the intersection back there. And then we just come in here. On ground, they're fine, and most surfaces go under the building, so it's fine. And we're going to just dirty this whole thing up. But like, let's hold here for a second. Mild appreciation for the assets we have from Colossal Order. I just like caught myself many times during this build just like staring at this rail depot asset and just being like, damn, the assets we have compared to Cities 1 are so freaking good. Like they are, you know, oh my, they did so good with it. Like they just look so freaking awesome. So here we go with some of the stain decals from Bro Man, and we're just gonna just destroy this place with dirt. Like it looks so good, so dirty, but so good after. We're just going to cover that whole area in those stain decals. And it's crazy what like a few decals and surfaces, like even now, if we like stopped this build here and we're just like, yep, yeah, cool, that's good. It already looks even better, right? We're amplifying that asset even more there, and it just looks so nice. And I thought about having this road connected, then I figured, nah, let's dead end it, right? That road is going to be a part of the depot, so let's just have it dead end. And when we did a surface connected to it, which was really cool, give it that end surface from the built-in there. And so we're just going to cover this now in its own stain dirt decal and make it look just as worn as you know, the environment around it. And then I figured, okay, well, let's just take this the whole way down via lane. But how cool is this? So via lane that connects into the train station is the same road that now passes and connects into the depot. Like, how sick is that? Honestly, I think that's awesome. Our first station and our train depot are perfectly connected like that. I just think that's so cool. I was like, I remember looking at that road and being like, damn, they connect. That's so sick. What the heck? And there's my saves. We save all the time here. If you see me saving, I thought about cutting those out, but I figured, you know what, let's leave them in, because new segment on the channel, if you see me save and you're out there playing, save your game. Do it. Trust me. Save your game. Let's get our first train line ready in this build. So we're going to connect it to an outside connection, back into the other stop. And my God, again, let me know if there's a way to reduce the amount of trains in this build, because we've got so many. I need like a cuboid outside connections limiter mod, because there's a lot. I'm going to call the line for now outside connector. If you've got a better name for this train line, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I've got amazing suggestions from all of you, and I try to implement as many of them as I can into this build. Now, we're going to go ahead and try and mess with the Keller here, and it took a while for me to figure out. I thought it was toggleable overlays. But it took a second for me to realize what was happening. So something happens when you open up the train thing, that it opens up a section of road builder, and that's what's causing it. So when I go in here, I X out of that road builder thing, and now we can see it. And what's cool about this is we can adjust the Keller in live here and see what it looks like. And so I initially looked at red, but we're going to go with green. And this is where I throw it out to all of you. Is Go Transit just the GTA Toronto area, or does it go to other areas? Because there's no train that services Thunder Bay, I'm going with the green because I think it looks cool. We could just call this the Evergreen line, potentially, to match up with the color of it, because, again, I really like the look of the green. But let me know, like, because it could just be Go Transit if Go Transit services other cities in Ontario, besides the cities that coexist within the GTA. Yeah, let me know. How big is Go Transit? Like, is that a big thing? I should have probably looked into it before this episode, but yeah, and then we're just going to adjust it. I was going to jack the prices way up there. I'll charge 30, you know, because Via is crazy, the cost of tickets there. But yeah, let me know. I want to hear from all of y'all about, like, trains. What should we call this line? Are y'all good with the color? Should I get a different color in? Yeah, let me know. And here's some more of the new graffiti stuff I got in that pack. Look how good this looks. I want like 600 more assets just like this. Like, this graffiti stuff looks so sick. This grimy, dirty, you know, messy graffiti looks so sick. And I love this new one from Solly that Yen Yang or something, YN something on it. Looks really good. And then I figure we got to give them a nice rundown parking lot, right? So we're going to scroll through the decals here and see if I can find one that looks good. There's just like, there is some awesome decals in this pack. Like, just take a look at how good all of these options are, eh? And so I'm going to go ahead and settle with this one. And look at that. Oh, it looks so good. And it honestly, it blends in with the surface really well, that like oily stained surface, the way the concrete like peels back on it. And now knowing, again, I'll you know, I go over it in the live play a bit, but I think I have found out some very cool stuff about is there Z-fighting with decals. And it kind of makes me okay to just like spam the decals around. I'm sure there is still Z-fighting to a degree, but you'll see what I kind of go over in the start of the live play. We'll cover it a bit because I figured something out during the live play. It was kind of cool. So I'm just going to cover this thing up, stain it up, give it some dirt, make it all nice and grimy there. And then I found this decal and I was like, oh, well, we got to go through with like the yellow line and make this whole thing look a little bit dirty there and a little bit messy, right? And kind of worn. Worn is the word I should be using. That's the word. And then look at this decal as well. Like, oh, I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it. Look how good that looks along the edge there, just to give it that overgrowth. But also using decals to blend the surfaces, right? So you can blend them better with the road, and it looks so good. So I figure, oh, well, let's just drag this thing the whole way around this road, right? All the way up to the highway connection, because that just looks so dang good. I'm so stoked on this pack, and I really hope the creator does release this stuff onto Paradox mods, because obviously I don't mind adding local stuff, and if you do want it now, you can get it. It's in a public channel, it's not hidden. But yeah, it would be cool if they release it onto the Paradox mod so that it's accessible to everybody, to the people that want to use Paradox mods and whatnot, that they can easily get that stuff there. So now we're going to come in with a fence, and I figured that there would be. I know that there's already a fence around the main core of the building, but I did figure like this road would likely just be there, like only exist to serve the rail depot. So I figured, you know what, one other fence isn't going to like ruin the build or like look odd to me. So I figured, yeah, let's just go ahead and add that one in. It just like adds as a barrier protection, maybe even a protection against, because this area is going to be like, we're starting to get out into the sticks now, right? So it's going to be a lot of nature around. So maybe even then it serves as like a barrier against nature from fully getting in there. But either way, it didn't look out of place to me and like looked good. So I figured, okay, yeah, what the heck? This is good enough for me, so I'm pleased with that. And then I dragged this road out here a bit because I figured, let's terraform it up, but we should add one little addition to this street here, which is something that we should have probably done in the downtown as well, but we've got a bunch of downtown episodes coming up. So let's get this road set up first, but the thing we're going to add is a little corner store, a little gas station convenience store. That I'm really excited for. Just like simply adding it just adds a nice level of realism to it. And then we're going to adjust this line over and just give them a dedicated turning into the yard. I want to add one on the other side as well too, but I just couldn't get it to line up or like really look that good there for the turning lane. So I figure, okay, well, we'll give them a dedicated turning lane on that the one road, and I don't know, it looked cool to me, so I figure what the heck, we'll have it as such. And then we want to make it dedicated, right? So it's just a right turn only there into that building. You can see that people, like there's people walking there already. People are headed to work at the new depot, which is cool. There's the taxi and dropped somebody off. Nice. And the taxi's on its way. Like that's really cool. Oh, there it is. Save time. If you are playing cities right now, save your game. So let's get some NA gas up in here, and let's get our gas station. And so I look through a couple of them for which ones I think would look good, and I settle on this one. The building just kind of has that, like, I don't know, almost country vibe. Now, in Better Bulldozer, I'm using it to remove billboards off of I'm using it to remove billboards off of billboards. Billboards off of certain buildings, and it appears to be affecting commercial too. But not only that, it does seem to be affecting the props that we place down here. So we're going to place down some Chevron stuff and call this like a Chevron gas station. But eventually when I go back in there to shoot cinematics, even the Chevron sign here that we place, it vanishes. So the Chevron itself vanishes off of the prop. So that does seem to be the one downside to the setting that I have enabled in Better Bulldozer, but it's a setting that I find kind of crucial. But yeah, placing these props down, it's kind of a shame they don't stay. Which is making me, I just can't wait till we get assets. I love the stuff we have now. I want assets. I want custom assets that it's built in. It won't change. This whole sub element thing is driving me crazy. The sub-elements seem to be a huge cause of issues. It's a cool idea, and I get it's super cool for vanilla. But for us detailers, I'm just like, listen, I need stuff to stay. I can't have stuff vanishing. I need stuff that I place to just stay. I need a mod that's just called stay. And everything I place stays, you know? So I come in here and detail up the road, give it that nice grimy look as well too there. And then we're going to come in and with some of my favorite decals to really scuff up the place and make it a bit worn. Just adjusting the surfaces there, but we'll go into the decals, and we want to make this look really grimy. So it's these crack decals that come with it as well. And I'm just going to spam them all over the build. So all over the gas station here, all over the road. And I just want it to have that really worn look. Now, they're pretty faint, right? Like they're a little bit harder to see under the surfaces, but that to me is like, they show up really well on the lines. So like over like the yellow lines and whatnot. Oh man, this area, like look at the decals and whatnot. This area looks so sick. I can't get over it, dude. The decals are so cool. The decals are the MVP of this episode, without a doubt. So now you're going to see me. Here we go. Speed running decals. Boom, 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 boom. Because, I don't know, for some reason they don't look repetitive. Like, they look really good. You can see it on the lines there. They just look really, really sick. So I personally don't find them too repetitive. And then I wanted to find a different grass surface here just for, like, it's the end of the rail station there, right? So let me see what I can come up with if something can fit there. And, like, some of them look really good and they come close to it. And then I realized, oh, hey, these poles are also sunken in, likely to us, you know, terraforming the area there. But this one, look at this. And I like that it kind of bleeds into, like, the rail yard there under the fence. It makes it look so sick. But yeah, look at that. Oh, that looks, I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's definitely, I will say, a lot of the decals that I'm placing, they are definitely amplified by the autumn foliage for sure. So we'll see how they look. Does it still hold its vibe when it's not in autumn? But definitely autumn is like carrying this a lot. And then now this here is a trick that I learned from Red Kool-Aid. Red Kool-Aid, you are a heckin' awesome creator. Check out Red Kool-Aid, y'all. Super, super awesome creator. But they're doing a desert build, and so I go in and just make the tree look a little bit dead there. So here we are. Welcome to the live play portion of the episode, and it looks like we've got one of our trains. Maybe a GO train, maybe the Evergreen line. Let me know. Now, Thunder Bay doesn't get trains, but, I mean, we needed a train station like this, and this is awesome. Now, the asset does appear to have some issues, like, I don't know what's going on here. Beautiful asset nonetheless, but we need to give some, or maybe they are already aware. I'm sure that they've probably gotten the feedback, because that is particularly not pleasant to look at. But the asset as a whole is awesome, and, like, you get some cool views of the bigger buildings, and, like, yeah, this just looks so sick down here. So yeah, let me know. I don't imagine, like, again, no passenger train goes to Thunder Bay, but does GO train, is that outside of Toronto? Or is that just within the Toronto, like the GTA? Either way, if it's not, we could just call this the Evergreen line. Or I'm sure somebody will probably suggest something, be like, no, you should call it this, and we'll just do that. Like the people that live there and know better than myself. And this whole area turned out so... Oh, it's just awesome. Now, there is some Z fighting with the decals, so I am going to have to figure that out. I'm going to have to push the decals out and give them a lot of space here. Although, actually, hold on a second. Is there actually Z fighting, or is that from my Oh. Hold on. Hold on a minute. So, yeah, it actually appears that they're not Z fighting. It's from my cursor. So what's happening is my cursor is hovering over a decal. And if that decal, yeah, look at that. If that decal is under a decal, it highlights it, right? And so that gets priority over top. Whoa, so it's not actually Z fighting? Whoa, so there might not actually be... There's got to be some Z fighting, right? Because, like, I've played other games that have Z fighting. Like, Z fighting seems to be a thing that's not, like, specific to, like, a city builder game like City Skylines. I've seen Z fighting in, like, FPS games. But, I mean, so far, that's looking way better. Okay, let's hang out in this mode, too. I should be doing my live plays probably in this view. That is awesome. Okay, well, that's cool. Good to know. But, yeah, there's the area that we built on. Like, that looks... this whole street just looks so good now. Like, that just looks awesome. And again, let me know about the bike lane. Should I be coloring these in green at the intersections? And should I be putting bike lane decals down? Now, I'm guessing the thing that I saw was a bike lane. it could not be a bike lane. So if you live in Thunder Bay, let me know. What I showed off during the inspiration station today, was that a bike lane or not? Very curious about that. But yeah, there it is. There's our rail, our first train station that's functioning right now in the city. And I would like to get the buses up soon, but the issue with that is we got to get more people, right? We got to get, like, this area needs to be built out, right? We need more buildings, more everything. But I think these are really cool. They're like these lonely little bus stops, benches floating. You know, things are great down here. All right, let's go take a look at, whoa, what is this? Is this one of the big boys? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is one of the 100 trains. The 100 trains, you know? This thing is... this is so big. And I think what's happened, I think we get a lot of trains because I think it goes slow, right? And so I think it's causing train backups. But like this, come on, this is so cool, right? Look at that. 100-car train just ripping through. Like, how sick is that? Looks so sick. Also, can we talk about this map too? This map in autumn? Oh my god. Look at the train ripping through the autumn. There's another one coming from the other side. We've got too many trains in here. If anybody knows how to lessen the amount of trains, please let me know. We've got too many trains. Oh, dude, I'm like out here. Look at this. During autumn. Woo, baby. That there is pretty damn beautiful if I do say so. Yeah, that's stunning. Holy, this map in autumn. Oh, sweet mother of God, be still my heart. This is absolutely stunning. Raptorman, you absolutely crushed it. This is... I mean, we already knew that. We knew the map was amazing. But, like, in autumn, whoo, that is freaking beautiful. So here is the train station. And, my God, I'm stoked with how this turned out as well. Like, it just... it looks so good. These new decals that we have, everything that we sort of got going on, like, the game is getting so good. We don't even have assets yet. I mean, sure, decals are kind of like assets. But, like... You know what I mean? We don't have proper buildings. And, like, this is sick. This is so cool that we can do this stuff and, like, really make this area. Like, this turned out so well. Oh, man. This game is getting so sick, y'all. It's getting so dang good. And then we got our Chevron here, little corner store gas station. Probably has some, you get a little Slurpee before your job there. Oh, dude, and then you see the rail at the end. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's some good stuff right there. You got the trains, like, ripping by. That's where the rail is, but you got the train stations over here. Dude, this is looking sick. I'm really pleased with this. I hope y'all are enjoying this as much as I am, but I'm having so much fun with this. This is really, really turning out great. And, yeah, I love the different grass texture here. Like, just mixing up the variations of grass, I just think it really, really adds to the story and feel. And arguably, we should have done some stuff under here. Also, those are kind of clipping through, eh? I wonder if I could just delete those. But, yeah, I mean, all in, this is looking awesome. So here's the overview. So we have, and I'm trying to show this off in, like, every episode. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the live play. Like, I'll just do a cinematic of it. But I want at least to give you guys an idea of where we're building, right? So here is the overview of the city. This is where our main town sits. And this is where our rail, cargo train station. That's where our train station sits. That's the grand image of it. Now, I do want to come in... I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I do want to do, like, the Thunder Bay waterfront stuff out here, so maybe I have to do some terraforming. But, like, I don't know that I want to touch anything in this map. It's just so good. But we could do some industry down here, potentially. Or even, like, I don't know, out over here. We'll see. I'll have to figure that out, because that is... That's so gorgeous. But, yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. And I'm going to do a new thing here because I forgot to do it for the last 2 episodes. But the names that you are currently seeing on screen are all the heckin' amazing people who support me over on Patreon. I super appreciate it. Y'all get early access to the episodes over there as well as save game access and little updates on things that are going on with this series and future builds as well, too, if we expand and do other stuff as well. But right now, all my focus is on this build. I'm just absolutely loving it. So check that out. Consider supporting. I'm CanadianMoosePlays. Let's hop into the outro cinematics.